The planet Virelia was dying. Its skies, once bright with swirling colors, had dimmed into a dull gray. The forests, thick and green only years ago, now lay twisted and blackened. Rivers that once sparkled under twin suns now ran thick and poisoned, carrying death instead of life. For the Virelans, a species of delicate, intelligent beings with translucent skin and luminescent eyes, survival was slipping from their grasp. In the great city of Zirath, towering spires rose like crystal fingers toward the sky, but even these, marvels of engineering now crumbled under neglect and decay. The Virelans had tried everything they knew to stop the destruction. Machines hummed day and night, pumping energy into the atmosphere, trying to cleanse the toxic air, stabilize the rivers, and regrow the dying forests. But all their efforts failed. In the council hall, a group of elder Virelans huddled around a glowing map of their planet. The holographic display shimmered, showing red zones where life was already gone, yellow where survival was uncertain, and green only in the rarest isolated corners. "This cannot continue," said Elira, the council's lead scientist, her voice trembling despite the calm she tried to show. Her translucent fingers hovered over the map. "The planet itself is rebelling. Every measure we take is too slow. Soon, even the green zones will vanish." Another elder, Torin, whose skin shimmered with a deep violet hue, spoke in a hoarse whisper. "We have sent messages. The galaxy hears us, but no one comes. They see our problems as minor. A dying planet, a struggling species. They do not care." Elira's eyes glowed brighter. "It is not care that is missing. It is action. We have exhausted our knowledge, our technology, even our energy reserves. The time has come to reach beyond the usual channels, to call for help in a way no one can ignore." Torin's eyes widened. "You mean the signal?" "Yes," Elira said. "A call for aid, but it will not be understood easily. Only those with a certain perspective, a certain adaptability, will hear us." For years, the Virelans had watched other species of the galaxy. The Zerthians, proud warriors, ignored their messages. The Althari, merchants of knowledge and trade, simply recorded the distress signals but never responded. Even the Galruni, known as caretakers of life in distant systems, refused to intervene. But humans were different. Across the stars, the humans were explorers, adventurers, and scientists. They were curious, brave, and, most importantly, they noticed things others ignored. The Virelans had no proof that humans would respond, but they were running out of options. Elira turned to the council. "We cannot wait. We must send the message now. If anyone can hear us, it will be the humans, and if they do, we might yet survive." The council hesitated. For a species used to precision, careful planning, and control, this act was risky. They had no guarantees, but desperation outweighed fear. The transmission chamber was a vast dome at the heart of Zirath. Massive crystal arrays rose like towers, each one tuned to channel energy across light years. Elira and a team of engineers activated the system. Streams of energy spiraled outward, forming a lattice that stretched into the stars. Within it, they encoded every detail of their plight: the dying forests, the poisoned rivers, the collapsing cities, and the suffering of their people. But there was more. Hidden within the transmission were patterns and codes designed to be understood only by minds capable of creative adaptation. Minds that could see solutions beyond rigid logic. In other words, only humans might decode it properly. Elira whispered a silent prayer. "Please, let them hear us." Far across the galaxy, aboard the human starship Horizon's Dawn, Captain Marcus Kane sipped his evening tea. The ship was a marvel of human engineering, built not only for exploration but for survival in the unknown. Its crew, a mix of humans. From every corner of Earth, had seen strange worlds, encountered odd creatures, and survived dangers no one else would face. The ship's communications officer, Lieutenant Arya Solis, frowned at her console. "Captain, I'm picking up a signal. It's faint. Unusual. Not like anything I've seen before." Marcus leaned forward. "Unusual how?" Arya adjusted the display. Patterns within patterns pulsed across the screen. "It's structured, yes, but also adaptive. It seems to change as I try to decode it. It's almost like it's thinking about how I'm reading it." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Thinking about you?" Arya nodded. "In a way. Whoever sent this, they designed it to be understood only by someone who can improvise, someone who can adapt to strange logic." Marcus's eyes lit up. "Then it's for us. Prepare a full decryption sequence. I want to know who's calling and why." Hours passed as the humans worked tirelessly. The signal was complex, weaving scientific data, ecological readings, and emotional urgency into one continuous transmission. Slowly, the pieces fell into place. Arya's voice trembled as she read aloud the message. "Captain, this planet, Virelia. They're dying. Their atmosphere, their water, their forests, they're collapsing, and they need help." "Only we might understand their call." Marcus stood silently for a moment. "Then we go. Set course for Virelia. I don't care what the mission orders say. No species deserves to die when we can help." The crew moved quickly. Humans were not just explorers. They were problem solvers, protectors, and sometimes, when needed, saviors. The horizon's dawn adjusted its course, engines glowing bright as it leapt toward the distant, dying world. Back on Virelia, the council watched the stars, hoping against hope. Days passed with no sign of response. Some elders shook their heads. Perhaps it was too late. Perhaps no one would come. Then, a flash appeared in the sky, bright and strange, moving faster than any ship the Virelans had ever known. It grew, larger, descending toward Zirath with such speed and precision that even their most advanced sensors could hardly track it. Elira's heart raced. "Could it be?" she whispered. The vessel landed with a soft hum, shaking the ground beneath the council hall. Airlocks opened, revealing beings the Virelans had only glimpsed in interstellar records. Humans, tall, solid, and filled with determination. Their eyes glimmered with curiosity, empathy, and courage, the qualities no other species had shown. Captain Marcus Kane stepped forward, hands raised in greeting. "We received your message. We're here to help." The Virelans stared, some in disbelief, some with tears forming in their luminescent eyes. No one had ever come. No one had ever listened. And now, humans were here. Elira stepped forward, slowly. You actually came." Marcus smiled. "We do not leave anyone to face destruction alone. Tell us everything. Show us what we can do." For the first time in decades, hope glimmered on Virelia. It was fragile, but it existed. And in that moment, both humans and Virelans understood something important. Sometimes it is not the strongest or the smartest who save a species. It is those who are willing to act when all others ignore the call. As the sun set over the ruined forests, the humans and Virelans began their first joint efforts. Plans were discussed, machines were examined, and ideas flowed freely. The humans asked questions, listened, and learned. They did not claim to know everything. They did not act as rulers. They acted as partners. Elira watched them work and felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, her people could survive. Perhaps, in the vast galaxy, humans were the ones who could hear cries for help when no one else would. The horizon's dawn hovered over the ruined city of Zirath, its engines humming softly as the humans prepared to land. Below, Virelia stretched like a scarred jewel, a planet once alive, now struggling for survival. Forests lay blackened. Rivers glimmered darkly under the pale light of twin suns, and the spires of cities, once elegant and proud, leaned toward collapse. For the humans, the sight was shocking, but not unbearable. They had seen dangerous worlds before, hostile planets, and storms that could rip a ship apart. But there was something different here. Virelia was not hostile. It was dying, and its people were fragile, intelligent, and in need of urgent help. Captain Marcus Kane stood at the airlock, observing the Virelans from the ship's viewport. Their forms were delicate, almost ethereal, with skin that shimmered in soft hues, of blue and violet, and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Despite their vulnerability, the humans could see the intelligence and dignity in every movement. "Remember," Marcus said to his team, "we're here to help, not control. We observe, we learn, and we act only when asked. Keep communication clear. Respect their world." Lieutenant Aria Solis, the ship's communications officer, nodded. "Understood, Captain. Let's hope they're ready to trust us." The airlock hissed open, and the humans stepped onto the cracked streets of Zirath. Dust swirled around them, carrying the faint scent of decay and chemical imbalance. Virelans gathered cautiously at a distance, eyes wide and cautious. Some whispered among themselves, their voices high and melodic, carrying a note of disbelief. Elira and a small council group approached the humans, moving slowly, as though they were unsure if the newcomers were friend or threat. Elira's glow was dimmer than usual, a sign of stress and worry. Captain Kane raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "We come in peace," he said in a calm, steady voice. "We want to help your people. Tell us what we can do." The Virelans hesitated. Generations of disappointment and betrayal made them cautious. But Elira saw something different in these humans. A confidence that was not arrogance. A determination that was not selfishness. She took a step forward. "We do not know if you can help," she said, her voice soft but clear. "Many species have ignored our cries. Perhaps humans will listen differently." Marcus nodded. "Then show us. Tell us everything. No detail is too small." Elira motioned for the humans to follow. They moved through the city streets, carefully avoiding rubble and collapsed structures. The humans noticed the faint hum of dying energy grids, flickering lights, and machines struggling to maintain stability. It was clear that the Virelans' technology, while advanced, was failing under the strain of a planet in collapse. They arrived at a central lab, a circular building filled with crystal-based machinery and holographic displays. Data flowed across, the air in streams of light, detailing the planet's deteriorating condition. Oxygen levels dropping, water contaminated, soil poisoned, and the forests dying at alarming rates. Elira gestured to the displays. "This is the best our technology can manage. We can slow some of the decay, but not stop it entirely. The planet itself is unstable. There is a force we do not fully understand accelerating the collapse." Lieutenant Solis studied the data carefully. "Your systems are impressive, but limited. With some modifications and additional energy input, I think we could stabilize some areas. We could even start cleaning the water and air while we investigate the larger problem." Another Virelan, Torin, frowned. "And if you fail?" "Many have. Tried. And only worsened our situation." Marcus looked at him steadily. "We understand the risk, but we will not leave you to fail alone. Humans adapt quickly. We can improvise. We can learn from mistakes and try again. That is how we survive. If you let us, we will do the same for your planet." The Virelans exchanged hesitant glances. Elira sighed and finally nodded. Very well, but know this. The smallest error could have consequences we cannot predict. You must be careful. The humans began their assessment immediately. Engineers measured energy output, studied the failing machines, and mapped out the unstable regions of the city. Scientists scanned the air, water, and soil, noting contamination patterns. Medical personnel examined the virulans for signs of illness caused by toxic air and water. As the humans worked, the virulans observed closely. They had not seen beings who combined intelligence, curiosity, and determination so freely. Humans did not demand control. They asked questions, made suggestions, and sometimes improvised solutions in ways the virulans had not considered. Hours passed, and small victories began to appear. Humans repaired energy conduits that had been failing for months, restoring partial power to vital systems. They deployed air filtration devices adapted from their own ship technology, reducing some of the toxic haze in the lower city. Simple solutions, but effective. Elira's glow brightened slightly as she watched. They are different. Other species come, demand, and leave when things are too complex. Humans, they persist. They learn. They care. Marcus noticed her reaction. We do not care for glory or profit. We care because it is the right thing to do. Helping another species survive is part of who we are. Torin, ever skeptical, finally spoke. If you are truly willing to help, you must understand that our problem is greater than the city or the air. The planet itself is unstable. There is a force affecting the core. We do not know how to stop it. Your solutions may only buy time. Marcus nodded. Then we will buy as much time as we can, and then we will find a way to fix the root problem. Humans are not afraid to try what others consider impossible. Elira turned to her counsel. Perhaps this is the hope we needed. Let us allow them to work. Let us teach them what we know. Perhaps they can succeed where others have failed. Over the next several days, humans and virulans worked together, building trust through shared effort. Humans taught the virulans techniques for stabilizing machines under extreme stress, while the virulans shared knowledge of their planet's energy currents and ecological systems. For the first time in decades, there were moments of laughter and optimism in Zirath. Children peeked from safe areas, watching the humans move with confidence and curiosity. Adults whispered among themselves, marveling at the persistence and empathy these strangers displayed. One evening, as the twin suns set, casting long shadows across the ruined city, Elira approached Marcus. "You have given us hope," she said softly. "I did not believe any species would answer our call. And now, you are here. Perhaps we can survive." Marcus smiled, looking at the glowing skyline. "Hope is only the beginning. Survival will take work, but I promise you we will not leave until we see it succeed. Together, we can do this." But even as hope began to grow, danger lingered. The humans could see subtle tremors under their feet, faint hums of energy from deep beneath the planet's crust, and signs that the planetary core was more unstable than even the virulans knew. Lieutenant Solus whispered to one of the engineers, "If the core destabilizes further, this city, and perhaps the entire planet, could be destroyed. We need to understand it before we can act." Marcus nodded grimly. "Then that is our next step. For now, we stabilize what we can, and then we find the heart of the problem." As night fell over Virelia, humans and virulans alike looked at the stars. In the vast galaxy, where most had ignored the cries of a dying world, humans had come. They had answered the silent call. The sun rose over Virelia in muted shades of orange and gray, casting long, trembling shadows over Zirath. The city still groaned with stress. Cracks widened in towers, energy conduits flickered, and the air carried a bitter tang of toxins. Humans and Virellans alike moved through the streets, busy at work, but tension hung heavy. Captain Marcus Kane stood atop one of the half-collapsed towers overlooking the teams below. Humans repaired machinery, deployed filtration units, and coordinated with Virellan engineers. Despite their best efforts, Marcus knew that stabilizing the city was only the first step. The real danger lay deeper, within the planet itself. Captain, Lieutenant Aria Solis called from the comm link. I've been analyzing the planetary core. The readings are alarming. There's an energy fluctuation pattern that doesn't match any natural process we know. It's as if the planet is shaking itself apart from the inside. Marcus frowned. Can it be stopped? Aria hesitated. With current technology, not entirely. We can slow it, maybe by time. But the source is deep. We'll need a solution that goes beyond conventional engineering. Marcus nodded. Then we adapt. That's what humans do best. In the main lab, Elira and her council observed the humans working. Tauren spoke first, skepticism clear in his voice. Even with their efforts, they cannot touch the core. Our calculations show the planet's instability will continue. Time is short. Elira's eyes, faintly glowing, followed Marcus as he moved among the teams, instructing, encouraging, and occasionally improvising solutions no Virellan had suggested. Perhaps, she said softly, humans see possibilities that we cannot. They do not limit themselves to what is safe or expected. That may be why they are here, and why they can help us. Meanwhile, teams of humans and Virellans began surveying the planet's surface for weak points and energy anomalies. Engineers deployed ground sensors, scanning fissures, underground rivers, and deep vents. Scientists collected samples of soil, water, and air, noting subtle chemical reactions that hinted at the forces destabilizing the planet. One of the young human engineers, Lucas Reed, crouched near a glowing fissure and muttered to himself, "These energy readings are off the charts, but I think I see a pattern." He traced the pulsing light across the cracked ground. If we can redirect this flow temporarily, maybe we can stabilize the area enough to prevent total collapse. Aria glanced over his shoulder. That's risky. The moment we intervene incorrectly, it could trigger a chain reaction. We could make things worse. Lucas shrugged. Sometimes the impossible is the only option. We just have to be careful and smart about it. Marcus watched from a distance, silently impressed. The Virellans' hesitation and fear were understandable, but humans had a stubborn streak, a willingness to try what others would not. By midday, teams attempted their first large-scale intervention. Humans combined Virellan energy redistribution devices with their own portable terraforming technology, creating a network designed to stabilize the most unstable zones. As energy flowed, the ground shuddered, cracks widened, and dust shot into the air. Elira gasped, and Tauren froze. "You are risking everything." Marcus raised his hand. "We are not reckless. We are careful. Watch closely." For a tense hour, the ground trembled and groaned. Then, slowly, the tremors subsided. Sensors showed energy readings leveling, and some of the fissures began to close. It was a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. The Virellans stared in awe. Elira's glow brightened. They can manipulate forces we could not. Humans. Perhaps they are the answer we hoped for. But as humans celebrated the small success, new problems appeared. One of the stabilized zones began to overheat, causing nearby machinery to fail. Toxic gas bubbled from underground vents, and a tremor shook a nearby district. Marcus acted quickly, coordinating a team to redirect energy and vent the gas safely. Virellans followed, watching the humans think and move with precision under pressure. Every problem seemed to be met with quick adaptation. No panic, no despair, only action. Even the children of Zirath peeked from safe zones, marveling at humans. moving among the chaos with determination and courage. As night fell, the team gathered in the main lab. Humans shared their findings. Virellans contributed knowledge about the planet's structure, and together they mapped a plan for the next day. Elira spoke softly to Marcus. Even with your help, the planet's core remains unstable. We have delayed the collapse, yes, but we have not solved it. Marcus nodded. We buy time first. That is our step 1. Step 2 is understanding the root cause and finding a way to fix it. Humans are patient, and we adapt. That is how we survive. Torin, still wary, asked, "And if your adaptation fails?" Marcus met his gaze calmly. "Then we try something else. We never give up. That is the difference. You see only limits. We see solutions waiting to be discovered." The next day, humans and Virellans ventured deeper into unstable regions. Ground sensors indicated strong energy pulses from deep underground. Marcus and a human engineering team deployed drilling and stabilization units, working alongside Virellan guides who understood the planet's unique energy currents. As machines hummed and spun, the ground began to quake violently. Dust and debris shot into the air, and several energy conduits failed. Elira cried out, "Stop! You will destroy everything!" Marcus shook his head. "We cannot stop now. We are stabilizing, not controlling. Trust us." For hours, the team adjusted, recalibrated, and improvised. Humans ran calculations on the fly, making instant corrections. They deployed portable stabilizers to counter sudden energy surges, rerouted failing conduits, and carefully monitored the Virellans' machines. Slowly, the tremors subsided, leaving the ground trembling but holding. Elira's glow pulsed brightly with awe. They can do what we cannot even dream of. Humans are extraordinary." Marcus looked at her, smiling faintly. Extraordinary? Maybe. But we are also persistent. We do not quit when faced with impossible odds. Days turned into weeks. The humans and Virellans worked together, tackling one unstable zone after another. Slowly, the air cleared in parts of the city. Rivers, treated with purification devices, became drinkable again. The energy grid stabilized, and some of the forests showed signs of life returning. Still, the planetary core remained a mystery. Energy fluctuations continued, subtle but dangerous. Marcus gathered his team in the lab. "We have made progress," he said. "But the real problem is deeper. The planet's core is unstable. If it fails, everything we've done will be undone. We need to understand what is causing it. Humans solve problems by looking for patterns, by thinking differently. That is our strength, and we must use it now." Arya added, "We can combine human sensors with Virellan energy mapping. Perhaps together we can locate the exact source and find a way to stabilize it." Elira nodded slowly. "Then we shall help you. You have earned our trust. But know this, failure may cost everything." Marcus met her gaze. "We accept the risk. Humans do not leave when others suffer. That is our way. Together we will face the impossible." As night fell over Zerath, both humans and Virellans prepared for the next day's dangerous work. There was fear, yes, but also a growing sense of hope. They had proven that cooperation could achieve what was impossible alone, and in that quiet, tense night, the humans thought about the challenge ahead, stabilizing a planet on the brink of collapse. It was a task no one else would dare attempt, but it was the kind of challenge humans thrived on. For the Virellans, watching humans adapt, persevere, and act without hesitation was a revelation. They had seen other species in the galaxy, beings with vast knowledge or great power, but none who combined courage, ingenuity, and compassion like these humans. And so, as the twin suns set over a planet that still trembled beneath their feet, the first true spark of hope burned. Humans were not just helping, They were showing a species on the edge what could be achieved when fear was met with determination, despair with action, and impossible odds with relentless ingenuity. The task ahead was dangerous. The stakes were higher than anyone had imagined. And yet, for the first time in generations, Varelia had a chance to survive, because humans had heard the call. The sky above Varelia was a swirl of gray and orange, streaked with flashes of unstable energy. The ground trembled beneath every step as humans and Varellans prepared to face the most dangerous task yet, stabilizing the planet's core. Captain Marcus Kane stood on a ridge overlooking a deep fissure that pulsed with faint, eerie light. The energy readings from below were off the charts, fluctuating violently. Even the most advanced Virellan sensors trembled under the strain. "Everyone ready?" Marcus asked, scanning the team. Lieutenant Aria Solis adjusted her equipment. "Sensors are online. Stabilizers are prepped. But this is going to push us to the limit." Marcus nodded. "Then we move carefully, together. No heroics. Watch each other. Communicate. We do this as a team." The Virellans gathered nearby, glowing faintly with nervous energy. Elira stepped forward. "You humans, you are remarkable. Even in danger, you do not falter. Perhaps it is not strength that defines you, but courage." Marcus gave a small smile. "Courage and persistence. That is how we survive." Teams of humans and Virellans descended toward the fissure, where energy pulsed like a heartbeat. Massive. Machines hummed and spun, sending streams of stabilizing energy into the ground. The air was thick with ozone, and tremors shook the rocky terrain. Suddenly, the ground shuddered violently, sending rocks tumbling. A wave of unstable energy shot upward, striking one of the stabilizers and sending sparks flying. "Move back!" Marcus shouted. He sprinted forward, guiding the team away from the danger zone while signaling engineers to recalibrate the stabilizer. A young Virellan named Lyra froze in fear. The ground beneath her quivered dangerously. Marcus reached her, taking her hand. "Trust me. Follow my lead." She nodded, trembling, and moved with him to safer ground. Once the immediate danger passed, the team returned to their work. Humans adjusted machinery on the fly. Virellans redirected energy flows, and the combined knowledge began to show results. The fissure's energy pulses slowed slightly, though instability remained. Hours passed like this, a tense dance of coordination, adaptation, and problem-solving. Machines failed. Energy surged unexpectedly, and tremors rocked the ground. Yet, humans adapted, improvising new solutions with tools on hand. Virellans watched in awe, seeing ingenuity and courage in action. At one point, an energy surge shot toward a group of Virellans. Marcus acted instantly, deploying a human stabilization shield that absorbed the energy, protecting the team. Elira and Torin's eyes widened in shock. "You saved them." "Without hesitation," Elira whispered. Marcus shrugged. "We do not leave anyone behind. That is how humans operate." As night fell, the team paused for a brief rest. The fissure glowed faintly below, unstable but slightly more controlled than before. Arya spoke softly to Elira. "We are making progress, but the core is still dangerous. One wrong move, and everything collapses." Elira nodded. "I see now why humans are different. Other species see danger and retreat. You face it, learn from it, and move forward. That is why hope is returning to Varelia." The next day brought a new challenge. A series of tremors erupted unexpectedly, splitting the ground and destabilizing part of the city above. Humans and Virellans raced to stabilize the affected zones, repairing energy conduits and venting toxic gas. A massive section of collapsed buildings trapped several Virellans. Humans sprang into action. Lucas Reed and a team used portable stabilizers to support the rubble, while Marcus and Arya carefully extracted the trapped Virulans. Once freed, the Virulans glowed with relief. One elder whispered, "They do not see risk only for themselves. They act for others. That is remarkable." Elira nodded. "Indeed. Their courage inspires us all. Perhaps if we learn from them, we too can rise beyond fear." As humans and Virulans worked, a subtle pattern began to emerge. Arya noticed fluctuations in the core energy that hinted at a repeating cycle. "If we can time our stabilization efforts with the planet's natural rhythm," she suggested, "we might amplify the effect and hold the core steady longer." Marcus's eyes lit up. "Then that is what we do. Let's synchronize with the planet, not fight it." Using the new approach, humans and Virulans coordinated their efforts with precision. Machines pulsed in rhythm with the core, stabilizers adjusted in real time, and energy was channeled carefully into weak points. The fissure trembled less, and for the first time the ground above felt steady. Elira's glow brightened with hope. "It works. We can hold it. But it will require constant attention." Marcus nodded. "We adapt. We will rotate teams, maintain stabilizers, and adjust as needed. Humans do not give up, and neither should you." Torin, once skeptical, spoke quietly. "I see now. Humans do not act for glory or power. They act because it is necessary. That is what makes them extraordinary." Over the next days, humans and Virulans continued their coordinated effort. Some humans monitored the core directly, others repaired machinery, and others worked with Virulans to restore the city above. Slowly, forests showed signs of recovery, water became cleaner, and the air cleared in sections of the city. But danger was never far. A massive tremor shook the ground, threatening to undo all progress. Marcus and his team acted immediately, redirecting energy, stabilizing conduits, and rescuing Virulans from falling debris. For hours, they worked without pause, showing skill, courage, and determination beyond what any Virulan had imagined. By the final day of this trial, the planet's core remained unstable but manageable. Tremors were smaller, energy readings steadier, and the immediate threat of collapse was delayed. Elira gathered with Marcus. "You have done what we thought impossible," she said, her voice filled with awe. "The planet still trembles, yes, but hope exists. Because of you, we live another day." Marcus smiled, though exhaustion lined his face. "We did it together. Humans adapt, yes, but your knowledge and cooperation made it possible. We could not have succeeded alone." Elira's eyes glimmered. "Perhaps this is the lesson we needed. Strength is not enough. Intelligence alone is not enough. Courage, persistence, and the willingness to act, these are what define true heroes. And you, humans, embody them all." As night fell over Zirath, the city hummed with quiet activity. Humans and Virulans alike moved among machines, repairing, monitoring, and preparing for the challenges ahead. For the first time in generations, the people of Virelia felt that survival was not impossible. Captain Marcus Kane looked out over the city, thinking of the next steps. The core remained unstable, yes, but they had proven that cooperation, ingenuity, and courage could hold back even the most impossible forces. Humans had adapted, faced danger, and acted without hesitation, and in doing so, they had given the Virulans more than temporary safety. They had given them hope, inspiration, and the realization that survival was possible when courage met action. In Ne, the vast galaxy, most species ignored cries for help, but humans had answered. They had faced disaster, adapted to impossible odds, and proven that even the most fragile world could be saved by ingenuity, determination, and the refusal to give up. Virelia was still at risk. The battle was not over. But for the first time, Elira and her people could imagine a future beyond collapse, a future where their children might run in restored forests, drink from clean rivers, and live in cities that thrived once more. The sky over Virelia burned with strange light. Tremors shook the ground, stronger than any before, and the air pulsed with unstable energy from deep below the planet's surface. For the humans and Virelans gathered in Zirath, the final test had arrived. The planet's core, unstable for decades, threatened to erupt violently, and all the work done so far could be undone in moments. Captain Marcus Kane stood atop a ridge overlooking the city. His human crew, alongside the Virelans, had prepared stabilizers, energy channels, and monitoring systems for a final attempt to stabilize the core. Every human present understood the danger. One mistake could destroy everything. Yet none hesitated. "Everyone ready?" Marcus asked, voice firm. Lieutenant Aria Solis adjusted her instruments, scanning the deep fissures below. "Sensors online, stabilizers primed. The core's fluctuations are worse than ever, but we can do this if we act carefully and in perfect sync." Elira, standing beside the humans, glowed faintly with nervous energy. This is beyond anything we have faced. The core is unpredictable. Even with your help, there is risk. Immense risk." Marcus looked at her. "Elira, we are here together. Humans adapt, yes, but we cannot do this alone. We need your knowledge, your guidance, your people. If we work together, I promise, we will do everything to save this planet." The Virelans nodded. Torin, still cautious but now respectful, stepped forward. "We will aid you. You have taught us what courage means. Let us combine our knowledge with your ingenuity." Together, humans and Virelans moved into the fissure zone. Massive machines hummed and spun, drawing energy into a network of stabilization channels. Humans deployed portable terraforming units designed to redistribute energy and neutralize dangerous surges. Virelans guided the flow, using their own energy technology to focus and control the unstable currents. The ground trembled violently. A surge of energy shot upward, throwing debris into the air. Marcus barked orders, coordinating teams with precision. Humans recalibrated the stabilizers, while Virelans redirected energy flows to prevent collapse. At one point, an unstable fissure opened beneath a group of engineers. Marcus sprinted forward, pulling humans and Virelans to safety, while a stabilizer absorbed the energy surge. Elira gasped. "Your bravery. You risk yourselves without hesitation." Marcus shrugged. "We do not leave anyone behind. That is what humans do." Hours passed in tense coordination. The ground shuddered, energy surged, and the machines strained under pressure, but slowly a pattern began to emerge. Humans and Virelans synchronized their efforts with the core's natural rhythm, channeling energy in pulses that countered the planet's instability. Lieutenant Solis called out, "It's working! The core's fluctuations are decreasing, slightly, but steadily." Elira's glow brightened with hope. You may succeed, but do not let your guard down. One misstep, and all may be lost." Marcus nodded. "We know. Stay focused. We have come too far to fail now." As the day wore on, tremors grew less frequent. Fissures stopped widening, and some sections of the city stabilized. The air began to clear slightly, carrying the faint scent of recovering vegetation. Trees in the outskirts, treated by human. Machines showed signs of life, small buds glowing in faint green. But the planet still rumbled. A massive surge of energy rose from deep below, threatening to undo all progress. Marcus ordered a bold maneuver. Humans would redirect the main energy pulse through a combination of Virelan channels and human stabilizers, aiming directly at the core's unstable heart. "Timing is critical," Marcus said. "We must act as one. Everyone ready?" A unified chorus of humans and Virellans responded, their voices strong despite exhaustion. Machines roared, energy hummed, and the ground trembled violently as the final attempt began. Sparks flew, air crackled, and the fissure pulsed with blinding light. Humans adjusted stabilizers on the fly, recalculating with every tremor. Virellans guided the energy flows, chanting in harmonic sequences that aligned with the planet's vibrations. Elira watched in awe. They are doing it. Together. Humans and Virellans. Minutes felt like hours. Energy surged unpredictably, threatening to rip the machines apart. A massive pulse shot upward, and Marcus leapt into action, recalibrating the stabilizers with lightning speed while saving Virellans from falling debris. Slowly, the pulse subsided. Energy readings showed the core stabilizing. Tremors became faint. Fissures stopped spreading. The planet's heartbeat slowed to a steady rhythm. A cheer rose among humans and Virellans alike. They had done it. Against impossible odds they had held the core stable. Elira's glow blazed brightly. Tears formed in her luminescent eyes. You have saved Virelia. Our world lives because of you. Marcus shook his head. We did it together. Humans adapt, yes, but your people's knowledge and courage made this possible. We could not have succeeded alone. Torin stepped forward, humbled. I see now. Humans are not merely strong or clever. They are persistent, compassionate, and fearless. That is what makes them extraordinary. As night fell, Zirath was quiet but alive. Machines hummed steadily, rivers ran clearer, and patches of forest glimmered faintly with recovery. Humans had left behind knowledge, technology, and hope for the Virellans to continue restoration efforts. Children peeked from safe zones, their eyes wide with wonder. Elders whispered in amazement, realizing that the species who had come to answer a desperate call had done what others deemed impossible. Marcus walked through the city with Elira by his side. Your people will rebuild. We have given you tools and guidance, but the work is yours now. Elira nodded. And yet, without humans, we would have perished. You have shown us what courage, adaptation, and determination can achieve. We will never forget this. Marcus smiled. Humans do not act for recognition. We act because it is right. But I am glad that we could help. The night air was calm, almost serene. Stars twinkled above, and the twin suns' fading glow bathed the city in soft light. For the first time in decades, the people of Virelia felt true hope. Elira looked toward the humans standing together with her people. In a galaxy where most ignore cries for help, humans have answered. You have shown us the way, and for that, we are forever grateful. Marcus looked at the horizon. Remember this, Elira. Survival is never guaranteed, but courage, empathy, and ingenuity, these can change everything. Never forget what we have done together. The next morning, humans prepared to leave. The horizon's dawn lifted gently from the stabilized city, engines glowing softly in the early light. Virellans gathered to watch, their eyes shining with gratitude and awe. Elira stepped forward. Go with our thanks. You have given us life, hope, and inspiration. Perhaps one day we may return the favor. Marcus nodded. Farewell, Elira. Continue to protect your world. Humans will always be listening, watching, and ready to help those in need. As the ship ascended, Virelia below began a slow but steady recovery. Rivers shimmered with clarity, forests showed green shoots, and cities stood, repaired and resilient. The impossible had been achieved through unity, courage, and ingenuity. The humans gazed back at the world they had helped save, silently proud but focused on the endless possibilities the galaxy held. They had proven that even the most fragile worlds could survive when beings refused to give up, acted with empathy, and adapted to impossible odds. Virelia was saved. The Virellans were alive, and humans had once again shown why they were a force for hope in a galaxy that often turned away from suffering. In the vast darkness of space, where so many species ignored the cries of others, one species had answered. One species had acted. Humans had heard the call. Humans had never failed. And in doing so, they had given the galaxy a lesson in courage, compassion, and the power of never leaving a plea unanswered. The stars sparkled above, and Virelia, once on the brink of extinction, began a new chapter, one of recovery, hope, and life reborn.